Rides. Sacred Rides offers off-road cycling adventures in 15 destinations around the world with trips for experienced mountain bikers as well as couples, beginners, and women-only trips. Really interesting big business model. It's got a lot of information to share with us today, and we've heard wonderful things from the screening committee, so I know you won't be disappointed. I'm going to turn the floor over to Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. First off, I want to say thank you. I know you guys get a lot of applications and a lot of pitches and stuff like that, so I'm honored to be here, and I wanted to say thanks for having me. Secondly, this might not be the typical pitch you get. I know you get a lot of startups and stuff like that. We're a fairly established company. We have a new business model that we're quite excited about. I hope to get you excited about it too. We're a stable, growing, profitable company, and we're really looking to take things up quite a notch over the coming years. So I'll walk you through a bit of the plan. Again, we've been established for quite a number of years. We are very well respected in the industry. We've been ranked #1 mountain bike tour operator on earth by both National Geographic Adventure and Outside Magazine. Last fiscal, which ended September 30th, 2015, we did $1.32 million in revenue with a $91,000 profit. This year, we're forecasting around 1.7, 1.8 by September 30th of this year. The profitability would probably come in a little bit higher. All things the same, except if we complete this investment. We're about halfway through our investment, and that's closing July 31st, and of course I don't expect you to adhere to those deadlines, but we're looking to do a fair bit of investing over August and September, and so that's probably not going to create a return on investment this year, so that's going to bring down profitability this year somewhat. So a bit about the problem. What is the problem we're solving? What is the problem our new model is solving? Our typical customer sort of represents the demographics of the sport. 45-year-old male, fairly high household income, typically around 2.5 weeks of vacation. And for them, the real value in doing a trip with us, we take care of every single detail. All they have to really do is book a flight to the starting location. Once we pick them up, we take care of every single little detail, from the lodging, to the guides, to the food, to beers at the end of the day, to every possible little detail, and really create an incredible package, anywhere from 5 to 14 days, where they're just really living life to the fullest. And that's kind of difficult for them to do on their own, whether it's an established location, like Moab or Whistler, or whether it's one of our more exotic destinations like Peru or Nepal. There's a lot of work that goes into planning something like that, and we just take all the work out of that. In one of our more exotic destinations like Peru or Nepal, you really couldn't do something like this on your own. You would get lost fairly quickly, and that could get pretty ugly fairly quickly. Now, from an industry perspective, there are a lot of companies out there doing this type of thing. Most of them are very regionally focused. They only offer trips in their small region, whether it's a province or a small area around Whistler, something like that. There's a few companies that do what we do, which is offer trips around the globe. But we are still the largest company. There's no company has been able to develop the type of scale that would allow them to be the one-stop hub for people who love to travel with their mountain bike. And that's something we're looking to solve with a new distribution channel. It's called our Getaways program, and I describe it as Airbnb meets CrossFit. It tends a little bit more towards the CrossFit side of things. It's not a big open platform like Airbnb, although the technology and the platform can lend itself to that in the future and other verticals. But in this particular program, it's more of an affiliate / micro-franchise type of program, and allows us for extremely rapid scale. And the way it works, mountain biker, passionate mountain biker who knows their local home trails very well, wants to show people around, they would apply to become part of the program. And if they're accepted, they would pay their upfront fee, the $4,000 sign-up fee. They would pay an annual $2,500 year renewal fee and a 7% per booking fee. And they would get a full turnkey package, their own website, their own custom booking system, marketing materials, marketing manual, operations manual, pretty much everything they could possibly need in order to start running 1- and 2-day trips in their area right away. So they just upload those trips on their own site. All of those trips get fed into a central website that users can browse, much like Airbnb. And they're off to the races. They could be, in as little as 1 to 2 weeks, they could be generating revenue. And for the typical mountain biker who really loves the sport, this is a great value add, because they can earn extra income, and they can even potentially work towards making this a full-time living. This is an example of a Getaways homepage. It's modeled after our own site, very consistent look. I favor very simple, clean design. It's all mobile responsive. It's pretty much 90% built out. We're in the process of completing the last few things. It's being beta tested by some of our existing guides, and we're looking to do a soft launch in the fall to the public, and then a hard launch next spring where we'll be targeting the major sort of North American, European destinations. A little bit about the market. So adventure travel, it's a huge market. It's growing quite rapidly, both through the growth of travel in general, but also taking market share away from conventional travel, stuff like cruises and beach vacations and package tours. More and more people want to get out there and they want to do something active with their vacations. There are about 7.2 million regular mountain bikers in the United States. There's not a lot of reliable data to the rest of the world, but anecdotal evidence, and we certainly do a lot of surveying on an annual basis, points to a huge explosion in the sport these days. So if we look at each affiliate having rights to about a 50-kilometer radius territory, within North America alone, there's a potential for 350 getaways partners, just unique mountain bike destinations. And that's kind of just going with the known ones. There's also smaller destinations that might be potential partners for this program. So a little bit about us. Obviously, I've told you a little bit about our reputation. We're very well established at the top of the industry, recognized by the industry, by media, by our customers. We've spent about $130,000 over the last couple of years building out our IT infrastructure, from our website to our custom booking system, our operations system. It's now become a social media site for our customers to hang out and chat with each other and chat with our guides. Fairly advanced technology, all mobile responsive as well. And the tech for the Getaways program, it's been sort of a part-time project on the side for about a year and a half, and now we're kind of ramping that up towards launch. So the barriers to entry for this type of thing are quite high. I'm the CEO, majority shareholder. We did 2 smaller rounds back in 2014 and 2013, so I do have 8 other shareholders, but I'm still majority shareholder. My sales director, Nate Lesnick, he's been with me for 5 years. My operations director, Megan, has been with me for 3.5. Content marketing director, Meredith Wires, she's doing a fantastic job. She took our blog from about 3,000-4,000 monthly visits to now over 100,000 visits a month, and that's one of our major lead generators. And we have about, I think as of last count, about 52 guides around the world who've average tenure is about 5 years, so they're very loyal and they really love their jobs, and our turnover is extremely low. So our core business model, our existing business model, we have 4 core lines. Our single-track trips, which are for experienced mountain bikers of any gender. We have our women's-only trips, which was developed through demand by women who are asking for this type of product. Bring your partner, where experienced mountain bikers could bring their non-mountain biking partner along, and there's a kind of a separate itinerary for them to do with their partner. And then our expeditions line, which I just got back from Greenland a couple months ago testing out a new itinerary. So these are really remote, quite exotic trips, typically that go through point A to point B in some very remote terrain. Our model is based on premium pricing, so we're not necessarily after the luxury market, but we want to intentionally position ourselves about 10 to 15% higher price-wise than the rest of the market, because we want to maintain that reputation that we are the best, and we want our pricing to support that, and that's worked quite well for us. Everybody else seems to want to compete in that sort of middle ground or even a race to the bottom on pricing, and we want to really firmly establish that high pricing with our product, and the market has proven that it can support that pricing. So in short, our growth model over the coming years, number one, the Getaways model that I described to you, obviously a significant recurring revenue potential there, the platform. We want to ramp up growth in our core product lines, the ones that I just mentioned there. We want to bring on a full-time support person to really deliver an even higher level of customer service, bring on a full-time marketing director, director of partnerships, so helping to establish partnerships with companies like G Adventures, Intrepid Adventures, these large companies that would contract us to run mountain bike trips for them. And then just really ramp up our paid marketing spend, something that we've kind of dabbled in but never really fully committed to. We just don't have the resources and the capacity on hand to fully manage something like that, but there's a lot of potential there. And then the two will work together really nicely. If we think of the typical Getaways trip, 1 to 2 days, and that might just be somebody who happens to be in Switzerland, happens to be in New Zealand, whatever, picks up a brochure, does a day trip. They're then going to enter our database. We can add them to our mailing list. We can market to them, develop a relationship with them. So to use our New Zealand guides, for example, they're beta testing this in Queenstown and Christchurch in New Zealand. They'll do about 50 people next winter probably on our 13-day trip. They could, within a couple of years, be doing 300, 400, 500 people on day trips and just reaching far more people with the brand. People who have a fantastic experience, come home, maybe they want to come back and do one of our 5-day trips, 7-day trips, 10-day trips, tell their friends. So if we look at this Getaways program, we can scale that up very rapidly. The platform is basically turnkey. It takes us half an hour to just crank out a new website, a new platform for somebody else. So we could potentially be reaching 10, 20, 50 times as many people per year through the program. So the two work together quite nicely. Some forecasts. As I mentioned, the net profit for this coming year would likely be significantly affected by the investments we would make in August and September, which aren't likely to generate any short-term revenue. Similarly, in 2017, doing some heavy investing in staff and personnel and marketing. And it's in 2018 and 2019 beyond that we start to see those investments really ramping up, particularly through the Getaways program. I think I have detailed cash flow projections I can share with you, of course. I think I've been fairly conservative with these estimates in terms of the potential, particularly of the Getaways program, and I think it's realistic and achievable, but it could even go higher than that. We did an interview, or I did an interview with a mountain bike website, one of the bigger mountain bike websites, a few weeks ago. And they had actually approached me to interview me about our previous franchise program. And I told them, well, that's on hold, but we got this exciting new program. It's a bit more of an affiliate program. And so we chatted about it, and they published an interview about it on their website. And there was a link to our website on there. In the span of 9 days, and on our website, there was a link to a pre-launch application if you want to join the wait list to become part of this program. We had 306 applications to the program in 9 days, and we're still getting a whole bunch more. We've barely done any promo for the program other than that article. So there's a huge demand out there, and the applications have come in from all over the world. People love the idea of being able to, much like Airbnb or Uber, being able to earn a little bit of extra money on the side. And this, unlike driving a car around, this is actually doing something you really love. So there's a few risks, obviously, inherent in this model. One of them is people signing up for the program and not being able to generate revenue. We've really put a ton of effort into making this as turnkey as possible. I worked on the marketing manual myself. It's about 30 pages long, just detailing everything all the different ways that you could potentially market trips in your region, online, offline. We've become extremely good at blogging and SEO, and I've put together a detailed course on how people can use that. So we're really giving people all the tools, and it's up to them really to get out there and hustle, get the posters up, develop relationships with the tourism board, get your TripAdvisor listing up, all that kind of stuff. So all the tools are there, and if they don't succeed, it's really on them, and we'll just bring in a new partner in that region that will succeed. There's obviously a risk to the brand reputation if those partners are delivering at low quality. We're addressing that through a 4-stage process. One is very careful vetting of who we bring on. Number 2 is partners that for partners. And finally, we'll get real-time feedback from the customers when they go on a 1 or 2 day getaways trip. They're gonna get an email or a text message as soon as their trip is done, asking them to rank their experience and rank their guide. So we'll be able to monitor that in real time, and built into those agreements will be the ability to revoke the license if they can't consistently meet a quality level that we demand. Litigation risk, obviously. I've already talked to my insurance company about this. We'll definitely face higher premiums. Those are all built into the cash flow models, but they will cover us. And competition from other peer-sharing platforms. There are a few guiding, the Airbnb of guiding type of platforms out there. Most of them are kind of one-size-fits-all. They do hiking, biking, rafting, canoeing, you name it. I think that's a bit of a mistake. It's really hard to hit all of those different people with the same value proposition, and we're really looking at focusing tightly on this one vertical, which doesn't mean that the platform down the road can't be rolled out to other verticals, but in the short term, that's our plan. So our target raise is about $500,000, is $500,000. I've raised about $200,000. I think we're at $210,000 as of this morning, private accredited investors to date. As I mentioned, we did 2 previous raises. The last one in 2014, early 2014 was at $7 a share, so the post money was 1.85. We're going with $8 a share this time. Fairly modest increase given 2 years of significant growth and investment in infrastructure. So the pre-money valuation is $2.1 million. And the use of proceeds, about $200,000 earmarked toward the Getaways model, so investments in infrastructure, in staffing, marketing. I've earmarked $20,000 for marketing. We may not even need any of that money. We've had so much demand for it, but I like to have, make sure that there's money earmarked for that. And then growth of our existing product lines, mainly through staffing and investment in paid marketing. Our exit strategy is based on an acquisition my target date is December 31st, 2018. As I mentioned many times, I absolutely love running this company. It's extreme joy to be able to take this crazy idea and be able to travel around the world and turn this into actual viable full-time business. I do have 3 young kids. I would like to spend more time with them. I've been doing it for quite some time. I would like to just build it up to the point where we can find the right acquirer and have it continue on, in some sort of legacy format. I've already begun discussions with a lot of the most likely acquirers. I'm friends with many of the owners of some of these large companies like G Adventures and Intrepid, Butterfield and Robinson. So currently, a lot of those conversations are developing around partnerships, but as we move close to that date, they'll move more towards that conversation about acquisition. So finally, why you should invest. We are extremely data obsessed. We have dashboards up the wazoo about every single aspect of our business, and we've spent a lot of the last 2 years putting those dashboards in place, so we know exactly what's going on with our business, and we know if we invest money here, we have a fairly good prediction of how that'll pay off down the road because we have the data in place. Really strong financial management. I've worked very hard over the last few years to really develop my own financial literacy, but also surround myself with great advisors. Not only just financial, but especially financial. Every new email subscriber we get to our mailing list generates $54 in revenue over the course of a year. So at 33% gross margin, that's $18 profit for every new email subscriber. We're currently adding about 1,000 a month. If we add a paid advertising campaign onto that, where you could probably generate leads for $2, $3, $4 each, huge opportunities for scale. And finally, we're positioned for some pretty major disruption in the industry with the potential to actually be the company that covers the entire globe and becomes the one-stop shop for mountain bike tourism. And the final point I'll make is that I've actually advised and mentored a number of entrepreneurs over the years. And you probably know this inherently, the number one factor in my mind that leads to success is really the entrepreneurial mindset and the people behind it. Do they have the right mindset for success? I've spent a lot of time over the last 2-3 years really working on my own mindset, my own habits, my own values, to really position myself to have a really successful mindset and be able to really dive into my company and apply that throughout my staff as well. So we can certainly chat more about how I do that. So that's it. Thank you for your time, and I'm here to take questions.